Hi everybody, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel. Kaiwaza with you, and we're continuing our journey through the Hawaiian record collection. Still on the letter S, and let's take a look at what records we have in store to look at today. And first up today we have an album called Tahitian Cowboy. This is on Viking Records out of New Zealand by Bill Sevesi and his Islanders. I'm not actually sure whether it's Sevesi or Sevesi. But anyway, this is from it's the same on the back, 1973. And it's a combination of instrumentals and vocals. Bill Sevesi was a steel guitar player and also like a band leader, so he always had some kind of band group going on. Another one from Bill Sevesi and his Islanders. This one is called South Sea Swing. It's also from 1973, and he features on some of his albums a lot of other well-known performers that are from New Zealand in Hawaiian music. Bill Sevesi originally is Tongan, half Tongan and half Caucasian New Zealander, and had a very long recording career in New Zealand. This is an American album by Bill Sevesi and his Islanders, Song of Old Hawaii, and it's put out by Fiesta Records. Now, what Fiesta Records in New York did was quite often to take parts of, they would take some songs from one of his, from the Viking albums, take one song or two songs from one album and a couple of songs from another, and, you know, mishmash them together and release an American album release of some of his music. So this is one of those records. I think there are a few other ones maybe I don't have on Fiesta by him. I know there's some other stuff. He continued to record for quite a while. This one is called Hawaiian Girl, Bill Sevesi and his Islanders. It's also from Viking, well, no, is it? Yeah, Viking out of New Zealand. And it's from 1980. This one's all instrumental. A lot of original compositions, which is always nice, I think. And finally, from Bill Sevesi and his Islanders, I just got this one recently on eBay. This is called Polynesian Romp, Volume 1, so there must be a Volume 2 out there somewhere. It is also all instrumental. This is a re-release out of Festival Records in Australia of the original Viking Records release. And I know there's some other stuff by Bill Sevesi out there. I know he recorded for quite a long time. I do have like a CD, 5-volume CD set or something, and he recorded into the 80s, but I have to say some of it, some of the latter stuff is kind of weak to me, because, you know, I don't know, it wasn't really like a full band, and as you get older, you know, your dexterity is not as good or whatever, so I don't feel like the steel playing was really that great on the later stuff that was coming out on CD. But I really enjoy his music on vinyl. Okay, up next we have an album called For You. This is on Hula Records out of Hawaii. Joseph, okay, can you say that right? Joseph Kalahanau o Kalakaua Serrao. And nice album. You know, nice voice, a lot of hapahaole, romantic songs. Good stuff. Okay. Now, next up is a band called Seawind. You might have heard of them. I don't understand the cover. There's a fish on it. It's a gatefold. This is from 70s sometime. Let's see the date on here. Somewhere in the 70s. But Seawind is a very popular band here in Hawaii. I don't have all of their albums because they're not Hawaiian music. They're kind of more jazz influenced. Nice stuff, quite popular, and they had some hits on the pop chart here. This is Seawind's Light the Light. I will get their other stuff, but I only pick it up when I see it cheap at a thrift store because, as I said, it isn't Hawaiian music. But it does kind of belong in the collection because they were Hawaiian people recording, some here and some on the mainland. Although later on, I will say, into the 80s, these are late 70s, but into the 80s, their albums, they were always, slightly Christian-oriented, but they became very Christian-oriented, almost like a Christian jazz band or something, and so I was not as necessarily enthusiastic about collecting those particular albums they did later on. And then let's look finally today at Mike Malihini Scott, Blue Islands. This is on a series called Sweet Steel Guitar Series. This is Volume 6, and that series comes out of Canada. There is Mike Malihini Scott, steel guitarist. This album's nice. Some of the tracks have a bit of a big band, feel to it. Some vocals, some instrumentals, and yeah, we have actually 2 albums from Mike Malihini Scott. This one is called Live at the Waikiki. It is the Sweet Steel Guitar Series Volume 14. I'm not exactly sure how many in the series there were. I think I have all of them, but they're filed under the the individual artists, so they're not all together. Let me tell you something about these records. There is the Waikiki restaurant where they were performing, and that is in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Years and years ago, back in the 80s, I used to work when I was a college student. I worked at the radio station at the University of Hawaii, KTUH. And at that time, they only had, I think, one Hawaiian show a week that was like an hour and a half or something. And I took that over, and then I really campaigned hard to have more Hawaiian music because I felt, as the university station, they should have more, and being non-commercial. And it was a bit of an uphill battle, but eventually I think we got 3 shows a week going. And during that time period, they had a lot of music, but I would also bring in some things of my own that they didn't have. Some of the steel guitar stuff was because they didn't have tons of it, and I do enjoy playing it. And at that time, I actually wrote to Tom Shilstra there, who is the gentleman who put together this Sweet Steel Guitar Series, and said, hey, I'm really interested in getting these albums for the radio station. And it's quite a bit, if you know anything about Canada and the United States. I mean, shipping is kind of crazy out of Canada, expensive and whatnot. But he said, I will if you think you'll actually play them, which I said I would. I mean, of course, I'm interested in them. And he actually sent like however many there were, 20 or something, to the radio station, and we did, play them. So anyway, I just thought that was really nice that he actually, because that was, it's not like these are huge sellers or something, and that was a big chunk out of his pocket there to send those. Finally today, an album that is from, I think this is Dutch, Steel Guitar by the Franky Scott Combo. Some pop songs, some country songs, some Hawaiian songs. I always like to get some of the European steel guitar records because they just they have an interesting take on it, and I really like some of their things. And now let's turn on the record player and here are some selections from some of these songs, some of these records. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this and other stuff that I do too. And if you enjoy this kind of music, I do have an online radio station called Hawaiian Hi-Fi. I'll put the link to that below. It's just a hobby station. I don't make any money from it. It's just for fun, and it plays records from my collection 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can tune in anytime. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.